We're continuing with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and we left off with the teacher, which another word for teacher is pedagogue, was thinking about the house, his favorite house, where he liked to stay, with the well-equipped farmer and his lovely daughter. And this is how we left, and they were talking about the animals in the farmyard, the chickens and the rooster. The pedagogue, the teacher, the pedagogue's mouth watered as he looked upon the sumptuous promise of luxurious winter fare, so winter dinners. In his devouring mind's eye, he pictured to himself every roasting pig running about with a pudding in his belly and an apple in his mouth. The pigeons were snugly put to bed in a comfortable pie and tucked in with a coverlet of crust. The geese were swimming in their own gravy, and the ducks pairing cozily in dishes like snug married couples with a decent competency of onion sauce. So all these animals he's picturing as food. In the porkers, he saw carved out of the future sleek side of bacon and a juicy relishing ham. Not a turkey, but he beheld daintily trussed up with its gizzards under its wing, and peradventure a necklace of savory sausages, and even bright chanticleer sauce. I don't know what that sauce is. I'll have to look that up. Himself laid sprawling on his back in a side dish, with uplifted claws as if craving that quarter, with his chivalrous spirit disdained to ask while living. So he's really picturing a sumptuous dinner. As the enraptured Ichabod fancied all this, and as he rolled his great green eyes over the fat meadowlands, the rich fields of wheat, of rye, of buckwheat and Indian corn, and the orchards burthened with ready fruit, which surrounded the warm tenement of Van Tassel, that's the farmer. His heart yearned after the damsel who was to inherit these domains, and his imagination expanded with the idea how they might readily turn into cash, and the money invested in immense tracts of wild land and shingle palaces in the wilderness. Nay, his busy fancy already realized his hopes and presented to him the blooming Katrina, with a whole family of children mounted on top of a wagon loaded with household trumpery, with pots and kettles dangling beneath, and he beheld himself bestriding a pacing horse, with a colt at her heels, setting out for Kentucky, Tennessee, or the Lord knows where. When he entered the house, the conquest of his heart was complete. It was one of those spacious farmhouses with high-ridged but lowly sloping roofs, built in the style handed down from the first Dutch settlers. The low projecting eaves forming a piazza along the front, capable of being closed up and in bad weather. Under this were hung flails, harnesses, various utensils of husbandry, and nets for fishing in the neighboring river. Benches were built along the sides for summer use, and a great spinning wheel at one end and a churn at the other showed the various uses to which this important porch might be devoted. I think we saw a picture. There she is at her spinning wheel, making yarn. From this piazza, the wondering Ichabod entered the hall, which formed the center of the mansion and the place of usual residence. Here, rows of resplendent pewter, a kind of metal, ranged on a long dresser, dazzled his eyes. In one corner stood a huge bag of wool ready to be spun into thread or wool or yarn. In another, a quantity of linsey-woolsey just from the loom ears of Indian corn, and strings of dried apples and peaches hung in gay festoons along the walls, mingled with the gaud of red peppers, and a door left ajar to give him a peep into the best parlor, where the claw-footed chairs and dark mahogany tables shone like mirrors. Andirons, and with their accompanying shovels and tongs, glistened from their coverts of asparagus tops. Mock oranges and conch shells decorated the mantelpiece. Strings of various colored birds' eggs were suspended above it. A great ostrich egg was hung from the center of the room, and in a corner cupboard, knowingly left open, displayed the immense treasures of old silver and well-mended china. So this was a fancy house. This is Ichabod's favorite place to stay, and he's dreaming of inheriting the farmer's wealth and moving to Kentucky with Katrina. So we'll leave it there and continue learning about this interesting fellow Ichabod and all his dreams and his hungers and his appetites. Until next time.